Hello students, welcome to the class 2 of the module 4. In the previous class, we have discussed on the chapter number 7, that is three-dimensional weaving. In that we have discussed with respect to weaving a three-dimensional scene. Okay. Then next we have discussed on the various types of projections. Okay, not in detail. Okay, just we have seen there are two types of projection. One is orthographic projection and another one is a perspective projection. Okay. Then we have discussed about this depth queuing. Then next, identifying the visible lines and surfaces. Then we have discussed on this the three-dimensional weaving pipeline, and we have discussed on three-dimensional weaving coordinate parameters. Within that, we have seen one concept called weave up vector. Along with that, we have seen the role of view plane normal vector. Okay. So in today's class, we are going to see some of the important concepts with respect to this weaving chapter. So here, transformation, we are going to discuss in this particular session about transformation from world to weaving coordinates, projection transformations, orthogonal projections, and within that we will see some types of orthogonal projections. Those were axonometric and isometric projections. Okay, with the help of figure, we are going to see those things. Then clipping window and orthogonal projection view volume, normalization transformation for an orthogonal projection. And next, we are going to see perspective projections. And within that perspective projections, perspective projection transformation coordinates, and some special cases. And finally, we are going to see the vanishing points for perspective projections. Okay, let us start with our chapter number 7.4. That is transformation from world to weaving coordinate. Okay, so here in the three-dimensional weaving pipeline, okay, so you have to recall that a two-dimension or three-dimension weaving pipeline. Okay, but normally here we are dealing on the three dimensions, so recall that a three-dimensional weaving pipeline, okay, means this pipeline. Okay, so here the first step after the scene has been constructed is to transfer the object description to the weaving coordinate reference frame. Okay, so the sentence says that whenever one object has been captured, okay, means its model has been created, okay, in our scenario, in our scene. Okay, so now that particular object is there in its model coordinate, right? So later we are going to bring that one in our world coordinate. After bringing to the world coordinate, we have to bring that one into the weaving coordinate. What is the role of weaving coordinate? So here weaving coordinate is nothing but the position of the weaver. Okay, so if you keep, okay, assume that you have created the model, okay, and it is there in the world also, but if it is not present in front of you, okay, so can you able to perceive the image of that particular object? No, right? So whenever the object has been created, once the object has been brought to the world, okay, next we have to keep that object in front of the viewer. Okay, so that is the thing, but we are transferring the object description or object reference frame to the weaving coordinate frame. This conversion of object description is equivalent to the sequence of transformation that superimpose the weaving reference frame onto the world frame. Okay, so what it indicates here is, okay, we are going to perform some kind of transformation, okay, that what we call as a affine transformation, in which we are going to convert this object description, okay, whatever is there in this object reference frame, okay, that we are going to transform into the weaving reference frame. Okay, means what is the simple sentence here is, okay, in front of you, assume that one ball is there, okay, but that ball image should come in your eyes, okay, that image should come in your retina, okay, eyes retina, okay, that part we are going to do over here. Okay, so that is what the conversion. Okay, the object is there in front of you, okay, that is a physical one, that will be there only, it is there in front of you, but its image can be seen on the part of your eye, that is nothing but retina. Okay, so that transformation operation we are going to do here. So first of all, translate the weaving coordinate origin to the origin of the world coordinate system. Okay, so we have already discussed what is a world coordinate frame and what is a view coordinate frame. So the origin, okay, you have to plot some xyz coordinate frame for that viewing coordinate. Okay, its origin, okay, that can be brought to the origin of the world coordinate system. Okay, so you are performing the inverse translation operation. Okay, so we know that the world is bigger than the viewer. Okay, because viewer is a part of the world. Okay, so the example you can take that a world is nothing but our earth. Okay, and here viewer is nothing but the person. Okay, so the person size is very smaller as compared to the world. Okay, so always viewer is always there in the world. Okay, but in the viewer world can't be seen. Okay, so apply rotations to align X view, Y view, and Z view axis with the world XW, YW, ZW axis respectively. So it says that we have to apply the rotations. Okay, we have to apply the orientations for this viewing coordinate values X, Y, Z. Okay, onto this world coordinate axes. That is world X, world Y, world Z axes. Okay, so if you do these operations, okay, so if you're performing the first operation, that is the inverse translation, okay, so that you're bringing, okay, so this viewing coordinate origin to the origin of the world coordinate. How we can bring that? The viewing coordinate origin, okay, let us take some point, okay, world position. In the world, some position has been taken. P is equals to x naught, y naught, z naught. Therefore, the matrix for the translating the viewing origin to the world origin will be this inverse translation matrix. Okay, I don't want to explain in detail about what is a translation and why we have used the 4x4 matrix, because already this chapter we have seen in this third module. Okay, so we are performing the inverse translation, okay, with respect to x, y, and z axis. Okay, so minus 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 will be taken. Then next, the second case, for the rotation transformation, we can use the unit vectors u, v, and n to form the composite rotation matrix that superimposes the viewing axis onto the world frame. Okay, so here whenever I'm performing the rotation, okay, rotation transformations, okay, so here I can perform the rotation about x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis. Okay, so whenever I perform the rotation about x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis, with respect to that, I have to rename that one. Okay. For example, if I'm performing with respect to the x-axis, okay, x-axis. So x with the x, that is ux. X with the y, that is a uy. Okay. So that is nothing but one complete one coordinate. Okay. Let me take that. This is a u, this is a v, and this is n. Okay. So in short, you can see that u is correspond to the x-axis. Okay. V is correspond to the y-axis and n is correspond to the z-axis. Okay, these are a kind of naming purpose we are going to use. So see here, ux, uy, uz, vx, vy, vz, nx, ny, nz. So here, these particular 9 coefficients, they will get varied. Okay, because if you see the rotation matrices, okay, when you see this rotation about x-axis, okay, rotation about y-axis, rotation about z-axis, only these 9 parameters will get changed. Okay, what about this last column and the last row? They always remain as it is. Okay, so when you perform this inverse translation and rotation, okay, whenever you perform the multiplication on this one, you are going to get a resultant matrix in which the world coordinate can be imposed on the viewing coordinate that can be imposed on the world coordinate. Okay, so whenever you multiply these two matrices, okay, means this rotation matrix and this inverse translation matrix, you are going to get this resultant matrix M. Okay, so here, yes, these parameters are same, okay, because here it is completely rotation based, but here it consists of the translation based, translation on that P naught, okay. So minus u dot P naught, okay, it is a dot product, okay, not the multiplication, okay. So here minus x naught ux minus y naught uy minus z naught u. Okay, you can see that u term is common. U term is common means it is completely on for the x-axis, okay, for our new v coordinate. And similarly for this v, that is for the y coordinate, and n for the z coordinate for our viewing coordinate reference frame. Okay, so that we are going to change. So next one, projection transformation. In the projection transformation, the three-dimensional weaving pipeline, after the transformation to weaving coordinates, okay, object descriptions are projected to the view plane. Okay, once you're done this operation, okay, that whatever the image of that object that will be projected on our view plane or projection plane. The graphics packages generally support both parallel as well as perspective projections. Parallel, or we can call it as an orthographic projection. Okay, the next one is perspective projections. So it is nothing but the whenever you perform this transformation from the object to the object to the viewing transformation, that whatever the image that you are going to get, okay, that is nothing but these projections, okay, that we call as a projections. In parallel projection, coordinate positions are transformed to the view plane along the parallel lines. Okay, so it indicates that here in the parallel projections, okay, in the coordinate positions are transformed to the view plane along the parallel lines. Means all these parallel lines, okay, or the projection lines, okay, which are whatever is coming from the object, okay, they are always parallel to each other. Okay, they're never going to meet at any point. They're always parallel. Okay, a parallel projection preserves relative proportions of objects, and this is the method used in the computer-aided drafting and design to produce the scale drawing of three-dimensional object. It indicates that in these parallel projections, okay, there is a kind of relative proportionality will be maintained for the object. Okay, irrespective of the distance between the object and the viewer, the object size always remains same. Okay, whether the viewer comes near to the object or whether he go away from the object, that object size, okay, always be same. Okay, so such kind of projections, okay, we call it as a parallel projections. Okay, and such type of viewing we call it as a parallel viewing or orthographic viewing. Okay, so normally in this computer aided drafting, that is nothing but your solid edge, okay, or any kind of a drafting applications, okay, there we are going to use this parallel projections. All parallel lines in a scene are displayed as parallel when viewed with the parallel projections. So these projections, these parallel lines are always parallel to each other. Okay, so hence we will feel that they are a kind of parallel projections. Hence we have given the name as a parallel projections. Okay, so see here, this is the particular line. Okay, is nothing but consider that this is one object. Okay, so I'm going to use a P1 and P2, okay, for the naming purpose. When its reflection, okay, or its image, when it falls on this view plane or the projection plane, okay, so it is going to say that, okay, this is the image. It is the image of this particular object. Now in this parallel lines or in the parallel projections, if this parallel line, if this object, if it is near to the view plane or whether it is away from the parallel line, from this view plane, its size will always remain constant. Okay, it does not get vary. Okay, so here this all these projections, okay, from these particular objects are completely, they are completely parallel from each other. Okay, and exactly they are going to fall on this view plane. Okay, that is what we call them as a parallel projection. But in the case of perspective projection, object positions are transformed. Okay, object positions are transformed to projection coordinates along lines that converge to a point behind the view plane. Okay, so here the unlike the parallel projection, the perspective projection does not preserve relative proportional proportions of the objects, but perspective views of a scene are more realistic because distant objects in the projected display are reduced in size. What is the meaning of this one here is, this is the object, the same object, that is a line, okay, and here the view plane will be there. Okay, and here the convergence point, normally we call it as a center of projections. Okay, center of projections, or you can take it as a eye. Okay, eye of a particular person or a lens of a particular camera in which all the projections are going to meet. Okay, so this convergence point, okay, is always there. Okay, means this view plane is always there between the object and the this center of projection. Okay, so here whenever this particular object, okay, if it comes very near to the view plane, okay, on this view plane its image is going to increase because it indicates that object is coming very near to the viewer. Okay, that's the much center of projection, that object will looks bigger. Okay, whenever that object goes away from the view plane, means away from the viewer, okay, our object looks very smaller. Okay, so its image also will be reduced on this view plane. Okay, so that the viewer will assume that that object is very small in nature, but actually here it is not preserving the relative proportion of the object. Okay, so object of the object, the particular size of that object, okay, it is always constant, but in the perspective projection, okay, it depends on the whether it is near to the viewer or whether it is far from the viewer. Okay, the best example for this one is mountain. Okay, if you see the mountain, okay, from very far place, okay, it will looks very small. Okay, but whenever you go in front of the mountain, okay, you will come to know that mountain is not that much small, it is too big. Okay, so that is what that type of viewing we call as a perspective viewing. Okay, in which the relative proportionality of that object will not be maintained. So because of this perspective projection, we are going to get a realistic images, realistic scenes. Okay, but in the orthographic projections, sorry, or in the parallel projections, we are not going to get that kind of realistic scenes. Let us understand in detail about these orthogonal projections, or we call them as a parallel projections. A transformation of object description to view plane along the lines that are parallel to the view plane normal vector n is called orthogonal projection or orthographic projection. What is the meaning of this one? So here this parallel projections are nothing but orthogonal projections. Okay, so when we call them as a parallel projection means whenever from this object, okay, from this object, whenever the parallel lines are emerging, okay, and they are moving towards the view plane, okay, this all this parallel projection of parallel lines, okay, all these lines are parallel to each other. So such type of projections we call as a parallel projection. But when these parallel projections hit to this particular view plane, okay, at an angle 90-degree, then such type of projections we call it as a orthogonal projections. Okay, so this parallel projections, whenever they hit the view plane, they named as a orthogonal projection because of these parallel lines are hitting to that viewing plane at an angle 90-degree. As we know that 90-degree is nothing but orthographic, okay, orthogonal, okay, 90-degree. Okay, so that is what we call it as a orthogonal projection, and orthographic projections both are same, or orthographic projections. This produces a parallel projection transformation in which projection lines are perpendicular to the view plane, that is nothing but 90-degree. All the projection lines are parallel to each other. Okay, but whenever they hit to this particular view plane, okay, with an angle 90-degree, that type of projections we call them as a orthogonal projections. Okay, with the help of this orthogonal projection, we can produce the front side view, top view, okay, of that given object. See here, I hope in the solid edge you have observed such kind of images. If this is the real object, if you want to see the top view of that particular object, okay, so here you are going to get the projections from this particular object, that is the top view. Okay, so on this, whenever this projection lines, okay, parallel projection lines hit to this particular view plane at an angle 90-degree, then we call them as a orthogonal projections. Now you can see only the top part of that object. Similarly, if you want to see the side view, okay, so if you, whenever you keep this view plane or the projection plane, wherever this projection parallel projections hit to this particular uh, side view plane, okay, at an angle 90-degree, we are going to get the side part of that object. Similarly, you can see the front side. So front, side, rear orthogonal projections of an object we call it as a elevations, and the top orthogonal projection we call it as a plan view. Okay, so front, side, rear. Okay, so it depends upon the viewer. Okay, where you want to see. Okay, the part of that object. Okay, it depends upon that. We are using some naming, that is elevation. Okay, and from the top, if you want to see this plan view. And within this orthogonal projection, we have some types of projection. Those were axonometric orthogonal projection, and another one is isometric orthogonal projection. So we can also form orthogonal projections that display more than one face of an object. Such type of views we call as the axonometric orthogonal projections. So in this orthogonal projection, if you want to see, okay, more than one face of the given object, such kind of orthogonal projections we call as the axonometric orthogonal projections. So if you see this particular object, okay, this is the cube. If you want to see the more than one face of the object, see, this is one face, this is one more face, and this is one more face. If you want to see more than one faces, that we call as the axonometric projections. Okay, so this is the view plane on which that particular projections of this particular object is falling. The most commonly used axonometric projection is the isometric projection. Okay, so axonometric, again we will say that it is a having some types. Okay, that is isometric, okay, diametric, okay, so many types are there. It depends upon how many faces that you want to see. The most commonly used axonometric projection is the isometric projection. Okay, but isometric projection is also a type of orthogonal projection, which is generated by aligning the projection plane so that a plane intersect each coordinate axis in which object is defined, called the principal axis, at the same distance from the origin, which indicates that here each coordinate axis in which object is defined. Okay, so this is the particular coordinate axis in which the object is defined. So this common, okay, so in which we can see all the axis is nothing but principal axis. Okay, from the same distance, whether you are near to the object or whether you are far from the viewer, from far from the object. Okay, it's a distance, if sorry, its image is always same. Next, orthogonal projection coordinate. Okay, so here this is the viewer. Okay, viewer is there, and here the projection plane or the view plane, and here the actual object point. Okay, so here the viewer, okay, you can take that here the camera is there or the viewer is there. Okay, so whenever from that object its image is going to come, okay, towards the viewer, okay, that image will be bounded on this view plane. Okay, on this view plane, so that this parallel lines, okay, when they hit this view plane at an angle 90°, then they will call it as a orthographic projections. So now the image of this object is can be seen on this view plane. Okay, real object will be here only, but its image can be seen on this view plane. See, the view plane means it is a plane on which we can see the we can view the image of the object with the projection direction parallel to Z view. Okay, see, this is a Z view. In this direction, Z view direction axis, the transformation equation for an orthogonal projections are trivial. For any position x, y, z in the viewing coordinate, the projection coordinate, that is xp yp. Okay, so here we are going to get the x and y values, right? Okay, so whenever this intersection we can see on this view plane, okay, so that is nothing but it is a projection. Okay, it is a projection or the reflection or the shadow of this particular object, so that we are going to name it as a xp yp. Now this xp yp is nothing but x and y only. So the z coordinate value for any projection transformation is preserved for use in the visibility determination procedure. So it indicates that here this z value, okay, that can be counted, okay, whenever we have the multiple objects over here. Okay, so here which object is near to the viewer, which object is away from the viewer, and which object is covering the other object. Based upon that, we will come to the conclusion, okay, what will the z values. Okay, so that we call it as a visibility determination procedure. For that we have some set of algorithms, that is hidden surface removal algorithm or visibility surface detection algorithm. Okay, that we are going to see in the end of this module. Next, clipping window and orthogonal projection view volume. This particular concept we have studied many times. Okay, so we have seen some command, that is GLU ortho 2D and GL ortho command. Okay, GLU ortho 2D for the 2 dimension, so GL ortho 2D for the 2 dimension and GL ortho for 3 dimension. Okay, I want you should go through this one. Okay, so this is the view plane, this is the projection plane. Okay, and here the viewing. Okay, this is the viewer. Okay, from here the viewer is going to see the image. Okay, so but in the view plane also, the view plane is very big one. Okay, we won't want that much big. We are going to crop that view plane. Okay, we are going to get a small window within that one, and within that only we are going to place our object. Okay, so you can treat in a way that assume that you are in a cinema hall. Okay, means in the PVR cinema hall. Okay, so here this is the location of yours. That is a viewer, and in front of you this screen will be there. Okay, yes, the screen will be very big. Okay, that particular screen will be big. Okay, within that they have applied one small white screen. Okay, not small. Actually, that is a bigger screen, big white screen. Okay, but this white screen is somewhat smaller than this particular plane. Okay, or that wall. Okay, so on that only you can see the image. Okay, or the shadow. Okay, I want you should go through this particular concept, because many times we have discussed on this uh, concept. Now here you can see this side view and top view of this orthogonal projection. So when, as I've said many times, in this parallel projections, all the rays, okay, that are coming from the object, they are always parallel to each other. They're never going to meet at any point. Okay, but whenever they hit, okay, whenever all these parallel lines hit to the clipping window, okay, so then they form as a orthogonal projections. They form as a orthogonal projections. So this is the side view, and whenever you take the top view of that one, okay, so you are going to get such kind of image. Okay, so this is the clipping window. Clipping window is nothing but what? It is the window on which you are going to see your object. Okay, so we can limit the extent of the orthogonal view volume, okay, in z view direction by selecting the position for one or two additional boundaries planes that are parallel to the view plane. Okay, so here if which indicates that we can restrict our boundary size. Okay, so we are going to restrict our left, right, bottom and top for the 2 dimension. Okay, and left, right, bottom, top, near and far for the 3 dimension. Okay, so that is what it is saying. So we are going to use the GL ortho, okay, or GL ortho 2D. Okay, in that you are specifying the values, right? So that is going to restrict the size of your clipping volume or clipping bound window. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about this normalization transformation for orthogonal projection. Okay, because multiple times we have discussed in this one in a lab. Okay, as well as in the class. Better you recall in the third lab program, that is I think a rotation of a color cube. Okay, there I have discussed on this concept. The next one is perspective projection. Okay, so perspective projection is completely different from the orthogonal projection, because in the perspective projection, all the projections which whatever is coming from the object, they will meet at one point, and that point we call it as a center of projection. Okay, so here it is not going to maintain the any relative proportionality of the object. Whenever the object is far from the viewer, that object image, that shadow, okay, on our view plane looks, it will become smaller. If the object is very near to the viewer, okay, then its shadow on the view plane will become, that will be increased. See here, this is the view plane. If this is the object, okay, that is nothing but line. If it is near to the view plane, okay, so its image, okay, image can be somewhat bigger. Okay, so here the viewer, okay, that is central projection, he will pursue that this particular line is bigger. Okay, but if the same line, if you take it away from the view plane, okay, so now it's a shadow, or its reflection, okay, it will become smaller on this view plane, so that this particular viewer, okay, he think that that line is smaller. Okay, so because of this non-relative proportionality, okay, we will get a kind of confusion that whether the object is bigger or smaller. Okay, next one, perspective projection transformation coordination. Some systems place the convergence point at fixed positions such as the viewpoint. Means here, this is the viewing coordinate, and within that we are going to fix one point. Okay, so that point we call as a viewpoint. So assuming that our viewer is in this location. Okay, so we are going to take it as a xprp, yprp, and zprp. PRP means it is a perspective projections for this x value, perspective projections for the y value. Okay, similarly for the z value. This is the actual point. Okay, and this is the projections, okay, of that particular point. Means, okay, it is the image of this particular point object. The projection path, okay, the spatial position xyz to generate the projection reference point at the pxprp, yprp, and zprp. Okay, if I take in a way that, assume that the best example for this perspective projection is, assume that the shooting has been done. Okay, so your favorite actor or actress, okay, they have done the acting in front of the camera. Okay, so the camera has been captured that particular scene. Okay, so whenever you visit the cinema hall, okay, you came to know that that particular film or the movie has been released. Okay, so you went to the cinema hall. Okay, so that particular projections, okay, they are going to hit on that screen. Okay, your 70 mm screen. Okay, so from that 70 mm screen, again you are going to pursue the image. Okay, so that image is going to fall on your retina. Okay, so you are going to come to you will come to know that particular whatever that acting, okay, that they have done, okay, is very realistic. Okay, you will feel that they are acting in front of you. Okay, such kind of, normally that can be seen only when if you are using the three-dimensional devices. Okay, so with respect to that, here also, this whenever this particular point p, its projection will be seen on this view plane. Okay, means that screen. Okay, and on that screen, okay, whenever it is coming near to the viewer, okay, yeah, it is going to get the perspective projections. Okay, it is going to get the perspective projections. So the projection path spatial position xyz to generate general projection reference point at xprp, yprp, and zprp. The projection line intersects the view plane at coordinate position xp, yp, and zvp. Okay, zvp is nothing but it is a viewpoint. Okay, because with respect to the z-axis, okay, with respect to the z-axis, okay, the viewer is located. Okay, that is our assumptions. Okay, so we will think that always x and y values will get changed. Okay, z value is always constant. Okay, that in that respective, with respect to that, we are going to keep it that zvp. Okay, is some selected position for the view plane. Okay, on the z view axis. Okay, so zvp is nothing but view plane. Okay, view plane. Okay, on the z view axis. Okay, so these are the some of the parametric equations that we are going to use whenever we are following this perspective projections. Okay, so I hope you can remember the perspective. Sorry, this parametric form of equations. Okay, so in the parametric form of equation, one parameter will be there, and with the help of that parameter, we are going to get the deferred values. Okay, so our parameter always lies between 0 to 1. Okay, completely 0 means the nothing has been changed, it is in its initial position, and if it is a 1 means it is reached its final position. So next one, coordinate position x dash, y dash, z dash represents any point along the projection line. When u value is 0, we are at the position p of x, y, z. Okay, which indicates that, assume that our u value is equals to 0 means we are here only. Okay, whenever our parameter value is u, we have reached this point. Okay, if we are having 0.5, u value 0.5 means we are at this point. Okay, that is the beauty of this parametric form of equations. Okay, next, on the view plane. Okay, on the view plane, okay, means on this view plane, z dash, okay, that is zvp, that we can solve as a z dash equation for the parameter u at this position along the projection line. We are going to take it as a, means if I want to compute, okay, what is the parametric value for this one, that is nothing but zvp minus z. What is ZVP? Say ZVP minus Z divided by ZPRP minus Z. ZPRP minus Z. Okay, so means this distance divided by this too much distance. So we are going to come to know that what is the distance between this one. Okay, so by substituting this u value into the equation x dash y dash, okay, in this particular values, okay, these equations, we will obtain this type of equation. Okay, this is when perspective, okay, the projection of x and y value. Projection means we will get the projection of x and y value. Okay, and some of the perspective projection equations or the special cases. Okay, so here if the view plane, okay, if assume that here we can see that this view plane is always, it is always in between the object and the viewer. Okay, but in some condition, if the center of projection, okay, if the center of projection or the viewer is in between the object and the view plane, okay, so we are going to get a the inverted reflection, okay, inverted reflection of the object on our view plane, on our view plane. Okay, this is the one of the case. Okay, and if you see some other cases, see the projection reference point, that is center of projection. If this is the clipping window, okay, if our center projection is very near to the clipping window, we are going to get a a limited viewing angle. Okay, that is we call as a field of view. Okay, and similarly, whenever the center projection, okay, that goes away from the clipping window, our field of view angle is going to reduce. Okay, it is going to reduce. So similarly, whenever we go very far, means whenever the central projection or the viewer goes very far from the clipping window, okay, then we are going to get a kind of orthographic projections. Orthographic projections. Okay, see, in the orthographic kind of projections, these parallel projections never going to meet, but in the perspective projections, all these parallel lines or the parallel projections, they will meet at point. Okay, so these are the some cases. The next one is a vanishing point for perspective projections. Vanishing point, has a name itself says that it is a point where these projections are going to vanish. Okay, means they are going to converge. Okay, that is the last point for them. Okay, that point we got as a vanishing point, the point at which the set of projected parallel lines appear to converge, we call it as a vanishing point. If this is the object, okay, with its principal axes, that is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Principal axis means nothing but, for our reference, okay, we will assume that this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis and z-axis. Okay, so whenever its projection falls on this particular view plane, okay, so that is nothing but we have taken the point. Okay, so see, from this particular edge, one point, this point and this point, okay, all these projections, okay, they are meeting at point. That point we call as a vanishing point. So here we are going to see the normally the front face, okay, normally the complete front face of the cube. For a set of lines that are parallel to one of the principal axis of an object, the vanishing point is referred to as a principal vanishing point. Means the vanishing point, whichever is very parallel to the principal axis of an object, okay, that we call as a principal vanishing point. Okay, it may be the x principal vanishing point or y principal vanishing point or z principal vanishing point. And next one, the number of principal vanishing point, that is either 1, 2 or 3, means one principal vanishing point. One principal vanishing point means only for the x-axis, only for the y-axis, only for the z-axis. Okay, that is for one principal vanishing point. Two principal vanishing point means it with respect to x and y and z, z and x. Okay, mean the combination of this. And three vanishing point means all the three, okay, axis will be taken into the consideration, means x, y and z. Okay, all this vanishing point can be taken. Okay, so this is our 1 point vanishing point. Okay, this is our 1 point vanishing point because it is pointing towards the z-axis. Okay, if you see this is the z-axis, means with respect to this, okay, this is also z-axis. Okay, don't think about its what um, it is, whether it is a positive or a negative, means direction. Okay, because it is along to the z-axis only. Okay, so see here, for the 2 point you're going to get the two faces of the polygon of the cube. This is with respect to the x-axis vanishing point, and this is with respect to the z-axis, which indicates that between this, means projections are taking from this side, and similarly the projections are taking from this side. So we are going to get the both the faces of this cube. Okay, so that we call as a 2 point 2 point vanishing principal vanishing point. What about the three principal vanishing point? That is nothing but this one. So here from the y we are taking, from the x we are taking, from z also we are taking. So we are going to get the three faces of this cube. Okay, so this is what vanishing point. In the next class we are going to talk about the perspective, projection, view, volume, okay, in detail. Thank you for the listening.